Okay, not too much to say. I'm just gonna work on this. Last shot was these close-ups, which are pretty much ready to ink. And then we go to this wide shot, but I'm going to treat it as if it was a close-up. I want this art to be tight. So, I'm going to make this eraser a little bigger. A little bit of smoothing there. Okay. These, I guess all we need on the moonbeams is the suggestion of them. Okay. So this was going. Now this is all going to go by fairly quickly. So if you're into this sort of behind the scenes thing, which is exactly what I would probably enjoy the most if I was watching this on YouTube, you know, somebody else doing this, then you'll probably like this video just because I'm going to be moving very fast. Not really thinking too much, mainly because I know what I have to do. I mean, we've got 3 frames here of fairly detailed action. So it's just a matter of getting to it and knocking it out. You'll see there might be some stuff from frame to frame we can carry over from one to the other. Well, looks pretty good. Okay, so actually, quick glance here at the bed situation. This looks okay. What's the camera see? Okay, so without any question. And by the way, we're going to assume that the background with the bed is going to be simply repeated from frame to frame. So all that really matters here is the body action. Now her look isn't real mission critical here simply because this only lasts for 2 frames. This is just her rolling over, so we have a little more latitude maybe than normal for letting it be blurry, for lack of a better term. be worth mentioning. Her hair is actually dark, by the way, but that's not really important to delineate here. If the timing on this is correct, okay, then we're definitely going to need some in-betweens. So probably want to wiggle all those points so I get a keyframe in there, but a good part of this has got to be erased. Okay, that's got to go and be replaced with the actual pillow. Her face has to go because we got to put in an in-between. So the way I'm going to do the in-between, hopefully this will work. My strategy is a little, I don't know, maybe unconventional. I've never really seen anybody do it quite this way, but I've done it with a few tests. It seems to work pretty well. Basically what I do is I say, well, here's an eye and here's an eye. So let's just split the difference. Go from here to here. Alright, and I often look at points like here's the corner of her mouth in the previous frame, and here's the corner of her mouth in the next frame. So you're going from here to here. So presumably, if we're going to divide it halfway, because remember what we might do here is divide it halfway, but then take the newly generated frame and move it either to the left or the right in order to actually pin down the timing. So here's the other side of her mouth from here to here. So we're going from here to here, would suggest that probably something like that would show her irritation. And I'm going to go ahead and, what's going on, man? I'm hitting the, okay, sorry, I was hitting the escape key and it didn't seem like anything was happening. So the only real problem here is I would say that's a little off. So let's roll the mouse button so that we can position this a little better. But again, that's one of the nice things about Blender is you can ballpark it and then go in and fine tune. So actually that works pretty well. One thing that is sort of glaringly missing here is her bosom, because she is a girl and she does have a bosom, so we probably need to accommodate a certain amount of that, and obviously drawing two big grapefruits for a guide would be the obvious way to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go into the comment layer here. Actually no, instead I'll use the blue. I'll use the blue. Okay, so this is what I want to do to guide myself here. I'm going to take this. Wait a second. Is that hidden? Yes, it is. Let's turn that back on. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to draw these center points. Okay, so there's her knuckles, wrist, elbow, shoulder. Okay, now here we have shoulder, same thing. Presumably under here would be her hand if she stuffed it back into the covers. So turning the onion skins back on with those guides should make it a little easier, although I must say the onion skins aren't quite as dark as I'd prefer. That's okay. So let's deal with it one joint at a time. So the shoulder goes from here to here, so that's pretty easy. So if we're going to bisect it, let's say there. Okay, her elbow goes way the heck over here, so let's presume that at the halfway point it's probably going to be something like this. Now this is going to break our little rule about silhouette, okay, because it's going to be fairly foreshortened. So that's something we want to be aware of. Okay, so, and we can pull out a little bit to get a better vantage point here. Okay, wrist, wrist. So we got wrist way over here, wrist way over here. If she's gonna do this, her elbow is actually on top of the covers. So I'm gonna go ahead and preserve the silhouette here. So we get this motion, okay, and now let's go ahead and put the same guides in here. This hand is under the covers, and here it's obviously tucked way under somewhere. So I'm going to say, if that's her shoulder, and we wind up here, then it's probably reasonable to say that this is fairly foreshortened, and this is coming out this way. So we wind up with something like this. Boom, boom. Okay. That works pretty well. Alright, now let's say here's the border on her hair. There's her hairline. Okay, so bisect it. Okay, so we got this curve, therefore, and obviously all these guides on an in-between, it would be stupid to think that they're always going to be like halfway. They're not going to be always halfway. But for the purpose of pinning down the positioning, usually you can pretty much treat it as sort of a halfway kind of thing. Okay, we're going to need another in-between there, by the way. I think that's probably pretty obvious. Okay, so now with that in place, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to jump back to my sketch color. And using the guide, let's get these lines in there. I'm going to go ahead and make this just a little lighter. And probably should turn the onion skins off so it doesn't confuse me. So here, now we have just a bunch of guidelines. What do we do with it? Well, let's put in this arm is coming out. Okay, and we do see her bosom as described before. Okay, and she's got a nightgown, so there's that. And then she's going to have her shoulder up here, and we determined that this arm was out, not under, so therefore something like this. I'm just going to draw the fingers as a cluster here. Okay. Okay, so now if we go ahead and hide this, we basically want to get to a point where it's clear enough what needs to be done that we're no longer guessing, and therefore we can turn the guides off and expect that we see enough on the page to be able to draw what we need to draw, right? Okay, so there it is. And again, this doesn't necessarily look the most feminine in the world, but at the same time, this is going by in literally 1/12 of a second. So it's all very much in motion. The only problem I have with it is, like I said, the fact that the okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh boy, that's way too far. But I'm going to go ahead and do it on 4s at the moment and see what that feels like, because I might have to put another in between in there. The good thing with anime is you don't have oodles and oodles of in-betweens like you would on a more, you know, quote-unquote full animation, but at the same time you definitely want to, there's times when it matters and you want to put in more in-betweens and smooth things out a little bit. But as I've discussed before, we're not on 1s, we're on 2s. So even if we put in a lot of in-betweens, actually that line shouldn't be there. At most they're going to be on 2s, almost never on 1s. So that feels pretty good right there. Okay, let's just see what that feels like when she's in motion. So we'll put it back here. The camera's going to push in. Okay. I like this. But without a doubt, this is one of those rare instances where we need to go on 2s. We just need to do it. So let's put that. Let's see how big that is. Okay, let's make that a little smaller. Okay, and then we're gonna bisect it again. And so, since we know we're gonna do 2s, let's go ahead and map up all the motion with sticks and balls. Because once the sticks and balls are in there, there's no question what you have to do. It's crystal clear. So, and I think because we're using sticks and balls and we're using this color for that, I can, let's see, if I draw, okay, unfortunately that erases the whole thing, so that's not really acceptable. So let me think about how I want to do this. I think what I'll do is just erase part of it and say, well, the sticks and balls are going like this, so let's turn the onion skins back on. And here we're going to go boom, boom. Okay, animation always goes on an arc. It's never a straight line. So the elbow motion would be there, and to get her wrist from here to here is going to require an arc that goes something like this. If that's her elbow, then basically her wrist is going to wind up there. Okay, and then I'm going to darken that, because the point here is to get sticks and balls in place that pretty well tell the whole story. Okay, now this one, is that 4 or is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4, so okay. So what we need is, we got this, and we got this. Okay, so we'll just go forward 2 frames and do something so that it sticks up. And this is where I'm having to work more than I probably should. I should have mapped this out completely with sticks and balls, and I think I will learn that lesson. I would say next time I'm not going to do finished art. I'm going to go from the animatic to sticks and balls. Okay, and that goes to there. So presumably, why is that there? Elbow, elbow, elbow. Oh, I see. I got it. So that needs to be there. So there's some stuff in the blue pencil, not the blue that I'm doing, but this aqua that I'm using for most of the drawing, that's going to definitely have to be erased. Definitely have to be erased. So, yep, that's got to be erased. So we're going from this, that's coming out there, and it goes to there. So therefore, little arc, boom, that's going there. Wrist, 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 comes to here. So we never see that. Split the difference. There it is. And that's sticks and balls wise essentially what we're going to have. Okay, so that means we got this goes to there. That looks pretty good. And since that arm is out, I'm thinking this would actually, this is going to have a wide swing to it. So I'm going to say, because it's only going to last 2 frames, so I'm going to say her hand is going to do something like this. Okay. Let's run that and see what it feels like. Okay, and I want to run that a little slower. Okay. And obviously that one looks kind of stupid because there's a bunch of stuff that has to be erased. So let's get the egregious stuff out of there. So all we see is our sticks and balls. So we're going there to there to there to there. Okay. That's cool. Alright, so grapefruit, 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 grapefruit. Same thing. Well, that's all volumes, you know. Okay, so hidden. And then she makes this move. Okay, so we're here. Okay, we're going to have to deal with that flip at some point. But for now, okay. One thing I don't like here, to me that's fairly obviously not positioned correctly. So I'm just going to erase that and think about the volume of her body, and it's actually going to be more like that. So, which means a lot of that's going to be under the covers. So let's draw the covers over her. Yes, there you go. Okay, covers over the old bosom. And what do we want to do with her face at that point? Fair question. I'm thinking grab this. Is the, yes, it is on. I'm just going to go. Okay. Just so that there's some movement to it. And I don't know if that's actually a good choice or not, but okay. As long as we're doing sticks and balls, let's do sticks and balls. So that means this is going to become, knowing that her background is unchanged, Wait a minute. Somebody's trying to call me. I think I'm going to have to stop for now because somebody's trying incessantly to reach me right now. So.